If we look at the pattern of Netanyahu's action since the war started after October 7th, it's been like in a very systematic way trying to undermine any chance of stability, any chance of peace, and any chance of retrieving his own hostages.
The Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Qatar, Mohammed bin Abdulrahman bin Jassim Al Thani, sat down with CNN for an exclusive interview following Israel's attack in Qatar. And he did accuse the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of deliberately setting back peace negotiations with the strike on Qatar's capital of Doha on Tuesday. Now, Hamas has stated that 5 of its members were in fact killed as a result of the strike. However, the leading members of its negotiating delegation, which of course were the main targets of Israel, are still alive. Here's more on that.
And by the way, at the same day, I was meeting one of the hostages' family that morning, the morning of the attack. Carrying a message that the families, they are counting on this mediation. They have no other hope for that. And I think that what Netanyahu has done yesterday, he just killed any hope for those hostages.
And to be clear, the family members of the hostages have been very vocal in agreement with what you just heard. They feel that what Netanyahu had signed off on in doing this strike in Doha, Qatar, was essentially, signing the, assassination or signing off on the assassination of their family members who remain captive in Gaza. So we have some more moments of this interview, which we'll get to in just a minute. But Cenk, I mean, attacking in Doha was so utterly thuggish and irresponsible. And this just continues to happen. I mean, Israel feels that they are entitled to bomb or carry out strikes in any sovereign country they feel like. And they, in fact, have engaged in that type of activity since October 7th. And it's dragging the United States in an incredibly dangerous place. I'm worried about a full-on war spreading throughout the Middle East and the United States getting dragged into it. And so, Netanyahu and the Israeli government, they're playing with fire and they just seem incredibly belligerent and unapologetic about it.
Yeah, so there's 2 disastrous elements of this. One is Israel constantly attacking other countries. This used to be a huge thing. This used to be a thing called war. When you bombed a sovereign nation, that was not a small event. That means you guys were going to go to war. So, but Israel now has new rules that apply to no one but Israel, which is, oh no, we can kill anyone we like in any country, and we could bomb any country. We could bomb their capitals, we could bomb their civilian population, within their civilian population. There are no rules at all for Israel. They're above the law. Okay, so that's already disaster number 1. They've done it in so many countries. Now we're up to 7, right? And they also take land in Syria, Lebanon, obviously the occupied territories, etc. But there's a second disaster, which is they've killed the lead negotiator for Iran when they did their bombing there. And now we're trying to kill the lead negotiators for Hamas. So if you're killing the negotiators for peace, you're obviously not going to get peace. And so you can't say, oh, golly gee, I can't believe we don't have a peace deal. I mean, yeah, I reached across the table when we're in the middle of negotiations and slit his throat. But it's his fault. It's his fault, not my fault. No, it's definitively your fault. And by the way, dropping a bomb on someone is no different than reaching across the table and slitting their throat. You're murdering them. You're murdering your fellow negotiator. And there is literally no clearer sign that you do not want peace. So that's Netanyahu's government basically saying, yeah, after hostages, go ahead and kill them because we're never going to make any deal with you. And remember, just a couple of weeks ago, Hamas crumbled and accepted Israel's offer on Gaza. And then Israel changed their mind. They're like, oh yeah, that offer, it's revoked. Because they were lying. There are no offers. There's never been an attempt to get to peace. because they want to take Gaza. And now that's what they're doing. They've already got 75%. Now they need Gaza City, and the slaughter in Gaza City has begun. This is as clear a genocide as I have ever seen, and almost all the world's genocide scholars agree with me. In fact, the whole planet agrees with us. Massive demonstrations in country after country that has nothing to do with the Middle East. Why? Because we're like, I can't believe that no one's stopping this horrific slaughter of the poor Palestinians. The only people who don't agree are the politicians and media in Western countries.
So I want to be clear about something, because there is a lot of misinformation about there in regard to members of Hamas leadership being in Doha, Qatar in the first place. Many view this as Qatar essentially harboring terrorists. However, the prime minister weighed in on that and said that both Israel and the United States specifically wanted Qatar to keep Hamas there. Here's more on that.
When Hamas office was established, was done with coordination, request by the Americans, by the Israelis. They've been using it as a communication channel for them, for Gaza, for all those years. And I'm sorry here, any Israeli politician who today is trying to to portray himself that he's away from this. This happened under Netanyahu's government, under Bennett government, under Lapid government, under Netanyahu's government again. Any agency says that no, they're not involved, it's not true. Mossad, Shabak, and the Ministry of Defense were involved in that. So there is no justification that this is considered harboring terrorism or whatever.
Now, I want to go to the last video here, because Netanyahu has commented on this and is not at all apologetic, doesn't really seem to care about what the hostages' family members have to say about it. And this is what terroristic defiance looks like. Take a look.
We went after the terrorist masterminds who committed the October 7th massacre. And we did so in Qatar, which gives safe haven. It harbors terrorists. It finances Hamas. It gives its terrorist chieftains sumptuous villas. It gives them everything. So we did exactly what America did when it went after the terrorists, the Al-Qaeda terrorists in Afghanistan, and after they went and killed Osama bin Laden in Pakistan. Now the various countries of the world condemn Israel. They should be ashamed of themselves. What did they do after America took out Osama bin Laden? Did they say, oh, what a terrible thing was done to Afghanistan or to Pakistan? No, they applauded. They should applaud Israel for standing up to these same principles and carrying them out. And I say to Qatar and all nations who harbor terrorists, you either expel them or you bring them to justice. Because if you don't, we will.
All right, so does that mean that any country can target you, Benjamin Netanyahu, after you facilitated the funding of Hamas? We've known that Hamas leadership has been in Doha, Qatar. He's known, as is clear by Netanyahu and the United States wanting to keep the Hamas offices open in Qatar, that they were located in Doha, Qatar. And so explain to me why for the last nearly 2 years, the IDF has engaged in the just full slaughter of Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip, civilians, while pretending to go after Hamas, knowing that Hamas's leadership is in Doha, Qatar, and they wait, 2 years to try to take them out? I'm not buying it at all.
Yeah. So I have strong thoughts on this. First, I'm curious about your thoughts. We're doing a poll in the live chat, shows live 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Is Bibi solely responsible for peace negotiations falling through? Yes, no, I'm not sure. Yes is winning overwhelmingly, as it should. It is an empirical fact. Now he says, well, we had to kill them. They were terrorists. They're Hamas. That's it, period. Done with this. Just like bin Laden. Okay, wait. Bin Laden was not in the middle of peace negotiations. He had committed a terrorist act here in the US and was in hiding. And coordination with the Pakistani government is an interesting, nuanced topic that we covered earlier. But it is nothing like Hamas that was negotiating a release of hostages, an end to hostilities. Israel withdrawing from territory, has won an election before, etc. So very, very different fact pattern. Now, he says Hamas is terrible and they're terrorists, so end of conversation. But wait a minute, the Israeli government is bigger terrorist than Hamas. That's empirical. You can catch feelings over it, I don't care, but so let me give you the facts. As we've told you before, Hamas's civilian kill ratio on October 7th was disastrous, one of the worst. 67% of the people that they killed were civilians. So far, Israel's civilian kill ratio, according to the IDF, based on leaks that Israeli press got, is 83%, significantly worse than Hamas. So they are intending to kill civilians, and they are. And they have kill zones. Yesterday we showed a guy who sounded exactly like an SS soldier, bragging about how he killed 105 Palestinians with no weapons that were defenseless, and he was saying how good he is at murdering Palestinians. So, and they brag about it. They brag about how they murder people with intent that they know are not threats. And then we've told you countless stories about the children that they've killed, and now at this point it's over 20,000, right? So the raw numbers are 60 times worse than Hamas. The ratio is significantly worse than Hamas, worse than what Assad did in Syria, worse than almost any terrorist activity in terms of percentage of civilians killed. So Israel is obviously at this point, unfortunately, heartbreakingly, a bigger terrorist group than Hamas is. So using Netanyahu's logic, well, they're peace negotiators, they're cabinet, their prime minister, are all fair game, because Israel says, well, yeah, we murdered the entire government of Yemen, the Houthis that were in effect controlling all of nearly a huge percentage of Yemen, and had the capital. We killed their prime minister, we killed their cabinet. We have a right to do it because terrorists. I call them terrorists, and that's a magic word. And once you use that magic word, you can murder anyone you like, because Israel doesn't have to listen to any of the laws that the rest of the planet has to listen to. So, okay, but the reality is, empirically, Netanyahu and his cabinet are far worse terrorists. Now, I don't believe the same thing that Netanyahu does, that he just labels someone a terrorist, that means you should murder them, that you should murder any politicians or peace negotiators, whether they're on the Palestinian side or the Israeli side, because I'm not a monster and a terrorist like Netanyahu is. So, look, guys, a couple of countries are a little bit famous for holding peace negotiations, and the world kind of appreciates them for that. Qatar is one of them. Turkey sometimes jumps in and does that. Some European countries do that. Now, when Israel has repeatedly murdered peace negotiators, no one's gonna want peace negotiations in their country, because it's an open invitation for Israel to bomb you and murder people inside your country. And since America and the rest of the world won't ever do anything about Israel, like normally that would be an outrage. If Russia did it, we'd do an endless sanctions and we would fund hundreds of billions of dollars of weapons against them. If China did it to Taiwan, we'd be in open war with them, etc. But when Israel does it, they're like, oh yeah, of course. Oh, you want to do it in the middle of Switzerland? Do it, yeah, murder anyone you like. You're above the law. So no, that Netanyahu guy that you just saw is one of the worst terrorists of my lifetime. And he said people should be ashamed of themselves for not cheerleading the disgusting terrorism of Israel. And he said they should applaud Israel. How many more people are gonna, you want me to applaud a bunch of terrorists? No. In fact, if you're applauding the government of Israel today, in the middle of one of the worst genocides we've ever seen in our lifetimes, you're a bit of a monster. And you're definitely racist. Palestinian lives, who cares? Just kill them all. They're all stupid terrorists. Just kill them, kill them, kill them. Us? No way. We get to kill more of you. We get to kill more of your civilians. We get to kill more of your children. We get to kill 500 times your children. We get to murder peace negotiators. We get to do everything we want. But if you say something bad about us, my feelings are hurt. My feelings are hurt. That's it. I mean, you know that son of a bitch, the SS soldier that we showed you yesterday, that's the sniper who was murdering all those innocent Palestinians? He said that he was one of the guys on a college campus in America that said his feelings were hurt. They were criticizing Israel too much, so they were all anti-Semites and should be arrested because you hurt the feelings of a Gestapo soldier who murders civilians for fun. And that's the bigger crime. Now, Look, outside of the people in power who are disgustingly corrupt, no one believes any Israeli lies anymore. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets its wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.